So I just got back from my last ride. It was a 3-4 day ride over in Negros Oriental. I put all my gear to the test. So I thought I'd just quickly run through all the stuff that I used on this last ride and give you a breakdown of what worked and what didn't work. So let's get straight into it. Well, for the helmet, I actually bought this new a few months ago when I was back in the UK. For touring, I wanted the visor. I wanted the peak to keep the sun off my head and out my eyes, and this one also has an internal sun visor as well. So this is the Scorpion ADF 9000, and it has an attachment in the box where you can switch out one of the vents for a GoPro mount. So I thought straight away, well, that's handy. We'll give that a go. So my helmet setup is this. So yeah, Scorpion ADF 9000, I'd say, is a big success. Really comfortable, it works well. It's not too hot. There's plenty of venting around the front. So over here, obviously it's really hot, but yeah, I get loads of venting on that. And removable liner as well, because here I'm sweating a lot. So it's nice to be able to take the liner out and give it a wash, which I have to do pretty often, to be fair. The GoPro mount is good. It's got a little bit of play in it, which I don't like. So I just have to check that before I start recording. Tend to not do it every time, but I check it at the start of the day. It's not too much of a problem. You can always slightly move the recording in post-processing, which I do for all the videos. And I have got a just off center mount. I can't mount it fully in the center because the GoPro ends up catching on the visor, which is a bit of a pain in the arse. So I do have just slightly off center mount, but that's all it takes, and that is solid. I like that perspective because it gives the perspective of what I'm seeing down the road. And I feel like when I'm riding, I don't have to be so aware of the camera position. I know it's just pretty much going to track what I'm looking at. Works really well anyway. In terms of the mic, I was toying with the idea of going with wireless, which this is a wireless setup, and I thought about getting that inside the helmet. But I just don't want another thing that's potentially unreliable, or maybe the signal drops out and you lose a load of audio. So I actually use a wired lav mic. I use the Rode SmartLav Plus, and I wrap it around here. It's not too expensive. I think I paid about 3,000 or 4,000 pesos. It's one less thing to power. So obviously when I'm riding, I've got battery for the GoPro, battery for the drone, battery for phones, battery for, everything. And a big part of the riding is battery management. And so one less thing to manage the batteries on. This one, it just goes straight into the GoPro. So you haven't got to worry about extra batteries. So I wrap it around there, and I clip it in on the right-hand side of my foam cheek pad. I know people have done cutouts and stuff like that for these, but I don't want to cut my helmet out, to be honest. I have tried clipping it in and under, but it just seems to work best. I found a position right on the inside here. I'll do a close-up for you, but right on the inside here, where it seems to hold and it doesn't get knocked about too much. It stays on pretty much most of the day. I might have to adjust it once or twice, but it gives clear audio. It's not too close, so I'm not getting those plosives, do they call them? I'm not getting that, and I get some wind noise, some engine noise, and decent, pretty clear audio on me. And the wind noise is not it's not obnoxious, it's not too much. But if you're getting up to 100 kilometers an hour or more, then yeah, you do start to pick up some wind noise. And with this helmet as well, having more space in the front and a lot of venting at the front, you do get a little bit more wind noise. But check the audio out and see what you think. Oh, muddy. Get through that. Back wheel skipping out a bit there. I like it though. Use that. For me, this is the best setup because it's the least hassle. So a lot of the time when I'm going out and I'm doing these videos, the ride is the main thing, and the video, I have to consciously make myself stop, get the footage, I have to think about doing the video. So I want it to be the least obtrusive it can be. Do you know what I mean? I want to enjoy the ride still. I don't want it to all be about the video. I want to go away, and riding, as one of my previous videos, is my chill time. So I want it to be an easy setup. So the GoPro goes on the front, plug in the mic, and I'll show you the GoPro in a second. And make sure the mic's clipped on, get your helmet on and go, and I can do a lot of my video like that. So I'm using a GoPro Hero 11 Black. In some of my previous videos, I said I was having some issues with it. Actually, it turned out it was the batteries all the batteries had basically ballooned up and were either not working or overheating too quickly. So I bought a new battery to test, and then I bought a few more new batteries because I realized the batteries are working good. So it's the Hero 11 Black. That's got really decent image quality. I'm happy with the image quality on that. I record for editing in post. So I record at 30 FPS, at 4K, and then I go away and I edit it in post and color grade it, just a little bit of a color grade. I don't want to spend ages working on color grades. I spend long enough editing videos as it is. So for me, that's good. I'm really happy that I didn't have to go away and buy another GoPro. I know there are newer models out, but I don't see any benefit at all for what I do with it. Not for the money anyway. I mean, I'm sure they're better, but are they 25,000 pesos, you know, 500 quid, 400 quid better? I don't think so. So I actually have a GoPro Hero 9 Black as well, and I'll use that as a B cam sometimes. But I didn't on this trip. So this trip, this is what I use. GoPro Hero 11 Black, 4K 30. On there I put on a media mod, and the reason I got this is because I wanted to be able to connect that SmartLav, that Rode Smart Lavalier microphone straight in. If you don't have the media mod, then it's a USB-C connection. Then you've got to mess about with using adapters, and I've tried them before on the Hero 9 Black that I've got, and they're not reliable. So I'd rather just get the media mod and know that it's going to work. So in this, you've got a USB-C port, you've got a mic input as well, 2.5mm mic input, which is exactly what I use off the GoPro. They do say that this microphone on the media mod is decent. I disagree. I think it's just as bad as the one on that one. So I'm not using the microphones on the GoPros at all. That works fine. The only annoyance with that is that obviously when you're changing batteries, which I have to do quite a bit, is that you've got to pull the whole thing off to change the battery, but it's a 30-second, 1-minute job, so I'm not too fussed about that. The Hero 11 Black has the fittings on here, so I don't need to put any other cage or anything like that on it, and it just goes straight on the front of the helmet on here, and that's the positioning there. So it's just off center, and then I've got the ability to tilt it slightly, so I've got it tilted back quite a bit, because obviously when you're riding, try and get that. The footage that comes out of that I'm really happy with. So really important with the GoPro, because the batteries don't last that long, is to have a bunch of spares. When I went on this trip, I had one in the camera, and then I had 2 spares, so I was only running 3 batteries, so that was a bit short on battery power, to be honest. I had a couple of the days near the end I was really having to manage the batteries, so I've actually gone ahead and bought another one now, so that is something I'd change. I'd take more batteries. Going on what we were doing 9-hour days, and I was being selective about, you know, getting the camera on and off. I reckon 4 will do me, and all I do with those is I have a little system. I put the fresh batteries in this little plastic. I have a hydration pack on me with a couple of little zipper pockets here. One zipper pocket has keys or anything I need, and the other zipper pocket, which is, I know it's this one already, has my spare GoPro batteries in. When I've used a GoPro battery and it's dead, it comes out the camera and goes into this pocket individually on its own. When the GoPro batteries are still fresh, I keep them in the plastic, so I know I just go into the plastic to get the fresh batteries out. It's like a little system I used to use when I was a photographer for making sure I'd got the right batteries, and that I didn't have to sort of, oh, is this one charged, is it not charged, you know. So that's a simple little system for that. I think I bought this, the dual charger for the GoPro. It just would take too long to charge up if you're having to charge them all in the GoPro itself. You can only do one at a time, so this is USB-C and can charge 2 at a time. So that's my vlogging setup, and then what's really important for me on these tours particularly is it's nice, the vlogging setup and everything is great, you know, you get a nice view with the camera and you get to sort of get that first person perspective of what I'm seeing, but it's nice to get a wider view sometimes. And so for that I use a DJI Mini 3 Pro, which I bought a couple of years ago. I know there's a new one out, the Mini 4 Pro, that has better tracking. I'm not 100% sure I trust the tracking on these drones anyway, so I tend to set up the shots, or I'm just going to show scenery with it. But this is nice and light and small and compact, basically. It fits in this bag, or I can shove it into a camera bag, and it does pretty well in the wind. It provides nice footage. It's not the best in low light, but I don't tend to be shooting stuff in really dark light anyway. The only time I've ever had an issue with this drone is some of the footage I shot over in Negros of the rice terraces. I forgot to take the ND filter off and we were at dusk. And so the image quality is not as good as it could have been. I was a bit annoyed at myself, to be honest, on that one, because those rice terraces were beautiful. And I left the ND filter on, so it was using too high an ISO setting, which just makes the footage a little bit mushy, but it's still passable, still okay. But that was my fault. So I've never had a problem with this drone. Dead easy to fly. My daughter even flies it and she's only 8. Yeah, it's got sensors on the front so it won't crash into anything. It also has sensors on the bottom. It doesn't have sensors on the back and sides. So that's kind of why I don't trust it for the automated modes very much, because obviously it's not got obstacle avoidance on the back and sides. But it's still pretty good value for a drone. I have had more expensive drones. I've had the Mavic 3 Pro, Mavic 2 Pro, I think. I had a Phantom 4 years ago. For me, this is the best compromise of size, weight, image quality, and also just price, not spending too much. I bought it with the Fly More combo because one of these batteries, the battery it comes with, which one? This one, is got a little bit less power because it has to fit under 249 grams, and it has to get you sort of, in the UK, there's a weight limit to get you within a certain category of license when you're flying the drones. I never used a third battery when we were flying in Negros. I never used a third battery in a whole day. I used one and a half batteries basically, so I know I've got enough battery power to do plenty of drone shots. And I'm not showing you all the drone shots I get, obviously, when I show you the edited video. So each one of these will last 40 minutes, and the lighter one will do just under 30 minutes. So that's plenty of time when you're up in the drone, because I'm not flying the drone and exploring off miles away. I see something at the side of the road or something I want to get an aerial view of, and I send the drone up and I'll spend 5-10 minutes getting the shots that I want, and then I bring it back. So this is invaluable for adding value to your vlogs, I think. I think it's just adds that touch of quality to your videos, and it just gives you a nice perspective where you can, you can get a feel for the whole area rather than just the immediate view of what you're seeing from the bike. So for me, if I was only going to have 2 cameras, the GoPro and the drone would be it. I think they provide the best value and the best footage. I also have the controller because I don't want to be using my phone because it kills my phone battery. The phone screen's really hard to see in bright light, and it's easier just to get this, and it just connects really quickly. It feels nicer to control. This is a really good drone. I would recommend this drone. I think it's a really good drone. For motovlogging, it's just a great compromise of size and weight and quality and price. So the GoPro and the drone are essential. And what I also did this trip was I was testing out an iPhone 16 Pro for video, because I actually have a proper video camera behind that I'm recording this on now. And I wanted to see whether we could get away with not taking that, because once it's rigged up, it's a decent size, it's going to take up a lot of room. I don't use this phone apart from for video. And I use the Blackmagic camera app on it, and that gives you control of your settings, proper control of your settings. It also allows you to use log profile without using up shed loads of data, which the standard Apple camera one would do. In terms of the quality of the video, it's pretty decent. It's not up to mirrorless standards, so I'm recording this on a Lumix S5 2X, and the quality of this is better than the iPhone. What I don't like on it is the ND filter is not great. So I bought a small rig Brandon Lee sort of cage kit for this, and it comes with the filter and stuff, but once you maximize that variable ND filter, it ruins the footage, and you'll actually see it in some of the shots that I ended up having to use because I didn't have a choice. Some of that footage, you can see a cross pattern where it's lighter at the side and then it's got this dark sort of crossing pattern in the middle. There's a lot of ND filters do that. So would I keep the iPhone 16 Pro and use it for video? No, I think I'm going to up the quality, and I'm going to actually bring the S5 2X to get better quality footage, because I want to improve the videos. Every time I do a video, I want to improve it and make it better. And so for me, that iPhone 16 Pro video quality, it's not quite there still. Everyone goes on about it, says it's amazing. For me, no, it's not. It's decent, and I might, in a push, if we're not going to do much extra footage, then I might use it. So iPhone I wouldn't take and use again, or at least I'd be more choosy about whether I take it or not. I'd have to make the call on, you know, whether I think I'm going to use a lot of that footage or not, or whether it's mainly going to be GoPro and drone. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope at least it gave you an idea of what to use. If you want any more detail on any of the items, then I'm happy to give it you. Just ask me in the comments down below. I'm just trying to give you an overview of what I was using, what my setup is, just to give you an idea, because I know sometimes like the moto vloggers out there, they do all this fancy stuff and they don't always explain to you how it's done. I don't do so much fancy stuff, let's be honest, but this is how I get my decent-ish looking video. So I hope it's useful. But yeah, like I say, if you've got any questions, then just give me a shout and I'll be happy to get back to you. For now, I'll see you on the next one. Probably ran out of battery, didn't I?